Yes, you can use that even in corruption also. That's a good point, Rukmini. And then the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of strong, right? Weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of strong. Empathy, compassion. In order to feel empathy or compassion, or in order to be tolerant towards others' views, you have to be ready to forgive the people, right? Any other place where you can use these things? The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of strong. Forgiveness is a virtue ethics. You can write in virtue ethics also these type of statements, right? Just remember this. Whenever the time is apt, you can use them. Next, Plato, we can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of light. Famous statement of Plato, very famous statement and a beautiful statement, right? We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of light. Yesterday, I was discussing that one question. Young people with ethical conduct are not coming into politics. What is the measures that it has to be taken? Now, this is apt in those circumstances. If you are using this quotation to end a question like that, then it is going to give you the best output. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of light. You can use this in morals and ethics. That is called one ethical courage. Courage is one ethical dimension, right? And then courage to stand on your things is called this one. In any social problem, this is the issue, right? People are knowing the things, but then they are not following the law, are not following that upright value. You can use this again interchangeably. Always remember this word Plato. Even in essay writing, you can use this. Coming to Abdul Kalam, if a country has to be corruption free and become a nation of beautiful minds, I strongly feel that there are three societal members who can make the difference. They are the father, the mother, and the teacher. Directly, you can use this in role of family and society and school in formation of ethics, right? Or values. You can use it. You can use this one also whenever there is a question on corruption. Sorry, whenever there is a question on the so-called education systems, you can use this, right? Role of families. Don't forget this. This is again a very, very important thing which you can use this. This is a beautiful one again, which you can use it in essay writing. When there is righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in the character. When there is beauty in the character, there is harmony at the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. Again, think of the syllabus. You can use it in international ethics, you can use in personal ethics, you can use in societal ethics, you can use in role of family, you can use it about, like conscience, thoughts. Whenever you are maintaining your thoughts, then you can use it. The relation between thoughts and behavior, you can use in those circumstances also. So this is again one of the most beautiful thing. Even in essay writing, it is going to be the best thing, right? By heart them. There is nothing wrong in by hearting all these things. Napoleon Bonaparte, for ethics, you have to use this. Great ambition is the passion of great character. Remember, great ambition is the passion of great character. Those endowed with it may perform very good or very bad acts. All depends upon the principles which direct them. Essence of ethics, consequences of ethics. Why ethics is important, right? You have to use this because everyone will be having passion. But with that passion, what you are doing, whether you are doing a good activity or whether you are doing a bad activity, that depends on the principles on which you are guiding them or you are directing. The principles which you are getting directed by is going to determine how you are going to use your passion or the energy. So in ethics, again, this should be used at any cost. Ethics papers, you shouldn't come out of exam hall without using this, right? Because they will ask what is the importance of ethics, what is the importance of character, what is the importance of integrity, what is the importance of attitude anywhere. foundational values or anything, you can use this, right? The principles which direct them. What are those principles, right? Whatever question asked, you can use this. Swami Vivekananda condemned none. If you can stretch out your helping hand, do so. If not, hold your hands, bless your brothers, and let them go on their own way. Right? Maybe you can use how to pull up other persons, or how to instill confidence, or how to pursue others, how to influence others. In that terms, you can use Swami Vivekananda's statement, right? Condemnation is a bad value or not an ethical action. So condemn none. So you can use again. If there is no space to use this, create some space in the examination answer sheet and write all these things, right? Then it gives Abraham Lincoln, just like this, Abraham Lincoln statement you can use in essay writing. Very beautiful statement again. The true rule in determining to embrace or reject anything is not whether it has any evil in it, but whether it has more evil than good, right? At least until this point, you remember this. Okay, the true rule in determining to embrace or reject anything is not whether it has evil in it, but whether it has more evil than good, right? You remember up to that. If you are unable to remember the entire quotation, if you remember the entire quotation, that is beautiful. Otherwise, at least remember up to this, because up to this you can use in ethics. There are few things wholly evil or wholly good. Almost everything, especially of government policy, is an inseparable compound of the two. So our best judgment of the preponderance between them is continually determined. You can use this in governance directly. If you have understood this, you can use them directly in your governance, or else stick to the first one, at least the true rule in determining to embrace or reject anything. Because again, it has something like Max Weber's concept. Max Weber more or less said the same thing, but he has given more priority to your professional ethics rather than personal ethics. But this can be used for judging whether it is a consequential or non-consequential or virtue ethics. Then you can use these type of things while you are determining an action. I said, right, Max Weber's statement has some drawbacks. You can use this statement as a drawback for Max Weber directly. There is nothing called good or bad. The only thing is how much good it contains or how much bad it contains. If you know the degree of good and bad, then you have to take something which is more good and something which is less evil. That is the point. Right? Again, in essay writing, this can help you a lot. Nearly all men can withstand adversity, but if you want to test man's character, give him power. Right? Act of double effect. Okay, yes, act of double effect. You can use it. Doctrine of double effect, right? Yeah, you can use it. Nearly all men can withstand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. Attitude of a person. If you want to test the attitude of a person, give him power. So in attitude, or whenever you are judging a personality, you can use these type of things. But in attitude, you can use this thing, because it is directly saying in the place of man's character. If you want to test a man's attitude, give him power. You can just replace that character with attitude, and you can write the answer in attitude. Tirukurul, falsehood takes the place of truth when it results in unblemished common good. Falsehood takes place the truth when it results in unblemished common good. See this statement. If you understand this statement, again, in the social problems, like I said, people in the social life, people will not be ready to do some ethical means. What does that mean? Say people will be doing corruption, because corruption is a norm today, right? If you don't give corruption, then your work is not done. So everyone is going to do corruption. So falsehood or evil is going to take place the good. You can replace the terms evil and good. right? If it results in unblemished common good. What does this mean? If something is accepted by the common citizens altogether, if the society is accepting something which is evil, then it appears to be good. So this is the biggest problem in social issues. Whenever you are writing why corruption is there, why social problem is there, why patriarchy still exists, or why sexual harassment still exists, why domestic violence still exists, why dowry still exists, why caste system still exists, why community still exists, why communalism still exists, for all this you can give this statement, because it is appearing that the good, it has some common good, right? So people are accepting it. As a result, it is the evil is spreading in the society. So for all these social issues, you can use this beautiful statement. I hope you got the point. Savitriba Phule, you can use it. You can use this just to substantiate your answers, right? Our contributions on gender inequality, our contributions on gender equality, right? You can come out with that. Aristotle, I count him braver who overcomes his desires than who overcomes his enemies. Conscience, emotional intelligence, right? You can use them. Count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who overcomes his enemies, right? Success, you can use this. What is success? Whenever you are writing some essay writing on success, you can use these type of quotations, right? What is success or what is failure, right? So conscience and emotional intelligence, you can use these things, because you have to be emotionally aware again. Warren Buffett, I discussed this. And then there is concept called utilitarianism, that is the dimensions of ethics. We face a direct conflict between the developmental activity and environmental quality. It is neither feasible to stop or curtail the development process, nor it is advisable to keep degrading the environment as it threatens our survival. So whenever you are writing about determinants of ethics or something like contradicting views or ethical dilemmas, you can give these type of examples. Not this big, you can concise it in your own terms and you can give as an example. For example, during some developmental activities, environment is going to get degraded. Now a cost benefit analysis has to be done between the environmental benefits as well as the economic benefits, and then there has to be an common stand or a balanced stand, right? In that terms you can write it, but this is helpful in determinants of ethics, sorry, dimensions of ethics. Moving on, public, are you able to follow? Yes. Now, public civil services values, public service or civil service values. I said this again. Ethics in public administration. What is the status? What are the problems, ethics, concerns, and dilemmas in government and private institutions? Laws, rules, regulations, and concerns as source of ethical guidance. Accountability and ethical governance. Strengthening of. I have already deciphered the syllabus, right? Civil services. A number of malpractices are prevailing in the department. This is just for terminology. We have given here malpractices inside the department. You can use this malpractices just in order to make you acquainted with the word. We have given this. Example, funds under various schemes and grants were being misappropriated. This is one problem which happens in your public administration, right? This is one, the present status is misappropriation of funds, misutilization of funds, underutilization of funds, unutilization of funds. These are the terms that I used, right? You can use the same thing. Official facilities were frequently misused for personal needs. Again, status, problems, right? Ethical concerns. These are the things which people are having with the connivance of higher ups, which means with the support, right? With the support of higher ups. You can use the same term if you are very good. right? If you are very, if you are not that comfortable, leave it, okay? With the connivance. Is it how you spell it? How you spell it? How you pronounce it? Connivance. Okay. Honesty and uprightness are the hallmarks of civil servant. You have to use this word. Honesty and uprightness are the hallmarks of civil servant. At any cost, you have to use this. Honesty, uprightness. Honesty is going, they have not given honesty separately in the syllabus. Rather, honesty is a part of your probity, right? Uprightness is a part of your probity, right? So in probity, you can add honesty as well as uprightness. So don't forget these two things. And you have to use the term. They are the hallmarks of civil servant. Whatever they use the question, right? Connivance. Okay. Right. Honesty, and whenever they give certain things like integrity or foundational values of civil servant, you can replace these two things. Honesty and uprightness with integrity is the hallmark of civil servant. Accountability is the hallmark of civil servant. Transparency is the hallmark of civil servant. Depending upon the question, use this statement. But use this, right? Civil services possessing these qualities are considered as the backbone of any strong organization. In line of duty, they take various decisions. Sometimes they become bona fide mistakes. As long as such decisions are not taken intentionally and do not benefit personally, the officers cannot be truly guilty. Those such decisions may at times lead to unforeseen consequences in the long term. Maybe it can be used for doctrine of double effect. At the same time, you can also use this in ethical dilemmas. This is one ethical dilemma that civil servants are facing, right? Ethical concerns and ethical dilemmas. The dilemma is doctrine of double effect, right? You have to use this, and then you can also use this in determinants of ethics. Determinants, what I said, determinants, space and time, right? Along with this, you can also use one thing called the intention of human action is also going to determine whether an action is correct or wrong, right? So you can use this example. Whenever you are taking a decisions, there might be some bona fide mistakes. However, if that mistake has occurred without any intention, why, for example, why demonetization? Many people say, though it is quite a failure in the real terms, still people say okay for that because the intention of Prime Minister is good in that, right? It was a bona fide error in implementation, but the intent of that action was really good. As a result, people are, they have not revolted that much, though they were very unpleasant circumstances, but still people accepted that because it was a bona fide mistake. It was not committed intentionally. So you can use those examples, but use these terms. Remember these terms. Again, this is for terminology. Rattle the moral fiber of civil servants, right? Corruption rattles the moral fiber of civil servants, right? Unethical behavior rattles the moral fiber of civil servants. The only thing is you have to use the term here and then use the statement. Why I'm saying this? This is how you enrich the answers with ethical terms, right? Subject sensitive words. A positive attitude is considered to be an essential character of a civil servant who is often required to function in extreme stress. Attitudes, positive attitude, negative attitude, foundational values of civil servants, right? Use all these things. Positive attitude is considered as an essential character of a civil servant who is often required to function under extreme circumstance. And now you can replace this positive attitude with emotional intelligence, and you can use the same statement, right? You can use something called courage in the place of this. You can use all the foundational values, whatever they ask in the question, and then use the same sentence. This is like a blank. You can fill this blank with whatever the good term that they are giving. A mere compliance with law is not enough. The public servants also have to have a well-developed sensibility to ethical issues for effective discharging of duties. Again, this is something which is contradicting to the so-called the Weberian bureaucratic model. and saying that ethics are equally important along with your bureaucratic morals. So here it is also something related to law versus ethics, right? So whenever there is such dilemmas in case studies, at least they will give you some dilemmas, then you can use these statements. A mere compliance with the laws is not enough. The public servant has to have a well development of sensibility and ethical issues. Then you can give some examples like in Jharkhand, a girl child died because of as she was not given the ration because she didn't have that Aadhaar card. So this is the thing that you can use, but you have to write this in saying that ethics are equally important along with your Weberian model, right? This is one critique. I think you are getting Weberian model is one thing. For that critiques, I discussed 3 critiques, right? Public servants are likely to confront with the issues of conflict of interest. This is one ethical dilemma. I already discussed this in conflict of interest, right? You can use the same thing in ethical. What are the ethical dilemmas that a public servant faces? Ethical dilemma is public servants are likely to confront with conflict of interest. So this is the point. So this is as of today, it's almost 10 now. I hope you got this. I'll discuss the rest of the things tomorrow, and by Monday, I'll go with the topics. Is there any question, guys? I am done with the day. If you have any questions, you can ask me.